What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this one, we're taking a look at the new MSI Claw up against the ROG Ally, so the Intel Core Ultra 7 and the AMD Z1 Extreme. The Claw certainly has been a quirky device since launch here, its first couple of weeks, and performance is all over the place depending on the game. Some stuff's really broken or crashing, no VRAM options, power balance issues, all kinds of things, but I am having fun with it, testing it, and I hope MSI really works on it here. It sounds like they have a long-term plan with the handheld. But let's get into the comparison more here. I did want to take a look at Cinebench. I just took a quick look at multi-core performance. I ran this 5 times and took my highest scores for each. Could never beat 13,810 over on my Claw plugged in, and on my Z1 Extreme plugged in turbo 14,524. So with both of them maxed out, that's where I wound up with my runs. Now over on 3D Mark, a quick look at Time Spy here. Claw at 3816 for this synthetic benchmark was really good, and ROG Ally 3185. I used to get closer to 33 on my Ally, but the BIOS 337 update and the new GPU driver, I don't know, it has really borked some of my performance. But anyways, sure ROG will straighten that out. Now, getting into the performance here, you'll notice the MSI Claw footage may look a bit faded or lacking in color on some of this. It was just some issues with the color space in my capture card, the way things were working, but it didn't affect performance at all, and I did test all of these without capturing, plugged in as well, and verified all of that, so just be aware of that. But anyways, getting into these 5 games, Cyberpunk, 1080p, medium, custom, native. ROG Ally's got 4 gigs of RAM set in all of these tests, and the Intel, well, we can only do on the Claw Auto, which can be a problem, and it overshoots the RAM allocation quite often and steals even more system RAM, messes with resources used in page file and all that. It's just another whole issue that we have there. But anyways, with this first run on native, 28 versus 38 for our testing here. Now I did want to do some other ones where we have FSR2 quality, and then we'll do XESS, and then this one you can see, of course, the Ally, just like a native, is gonna beat the MSI Claw. Now the thing is, Cyberpunk is the most broken game I've played yet on the Claw. This is like a worst case scenario. If you go into real world gameplay and try to play this game even plugged in on the Claw, it's completely not, you can't do it. It's not playable. It is broken. I think it's a lot of driver issues among other things, but the benchmark works enough to show us some performance differences anyways, and so I like to use it here. Now FSR2 quality for both of these, that's native to the Ally for AMD, but not for Claw, as to where XESS is native for Intel. So we check this out, and we get 34.5 versus 49.88 there. Big jump, 15 FPS for the Ally, but yeah, still not too bad there. Now the MSI Claw here for XESS is going to be native, where the Ally had native FSR, and we'll check that out. But of course, it's not going to make a big difference when it comes to the overall performance, but you will see a little bit, because the Ally doesn't benefit as much from XESS as it does FSR, and I'll show you that, but the Claw benefits a little bit more from it. So it kind of closes the gap a little bit, but we're not talking a lot here, but by a little. So anyways, we finish this up, and we'll come up to 36 and 44 basically. But I also want to bring up that picture and show you the difference I was talking about. See that the gap there, the 49 with FSR for Ally's native, and then XESS got us a little bit more for the native on ARC. Now moving over to Forza Motorsport. Now I know this game's a little different beast, a newer engine and all of that, but it's done well on the Ally, the Go and stuff for me, and so I want to try it on the Claw, and it is pretty tough. I'd have to switch to 720p as my base. Even if I use upscaling, it just didn't get me there no matter what. So it was always going to stay under 30, so not really that great, not as playable as something like the Ally, unless you go to 720p, which I got about 35 average FPS at 720. But here at 1080, 28 FPS and 39 FPS, 11 difference with the same setting and resolution here. Now, Skull and Bones is another one we'll take a quick look at here. A newer title from Ubisoft, and I was actually surprised at how bad the performance was for the Claw, both in the benchmark and in real-world gameplay. It gets pretty rough. I was hoping it would do a little bit better. Again, the Ally and the Go do a great job of playing this game for me. Out in real-world gameplay, I can adjust things and get from 50 to 70 FPS, but with the Claw, I'm never really able to get it there, and we're usually down in the 30s when I get into real-world gameplay versus 30s and 40s, depending, versus that 50 to 70 I can get on the Ally or Go. So 35 versus 55 here, just through the benchmark for the difference here for these two. Now, Horizon Zero Dawn was another good one to take a look at. Another title that has a really big difference here. I mean, we were talking 45, 43 watts. The Allies, or the Claw, is trying to push plugged in here in its performance mode, versus Allies fairly steady. 29 to 32 to 30 watts, but mostly it'll lock to when it's not boosting and you're just playing plugged in. And yeah, temperature difference, performance difference. This is another good title to show what the Ally and the Z1 Extreme are doing right now anyway, up against the MSI Claw and Intel's Core Ultra 7. Definitely a lot of work to be done when it comes to this handheld's performance and all around balance and that kind of thing here. All right, and our final title we're going to take a look at, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I did this a little different. We got a 4-way here. Hopefully you're on a big enough screen to see all this. 1080p medium native on the left, 1080p medium XeSS quality on the right, and you can see how both of these are running up against each other. Of course, the Ally is again going to be beating the Claw in this older title. I just wanted to see how it would do and by how much, and what's the Claw trying to pull wattage wise. It's not trying to pull as much as it was back on Horizon Zero Dawn when it was hitting 43, 45 pretty consistently, so it's not pulling as much here, but I notice it's GPU bound more, not using as much CPU, and that would be why. And games do tend to run better when that's the case on the Claw, especially with the odd power balancing and VRAM options. But AMD and the Z1 Extreme and all that, they have that pretty balanced and working really well on some steady wattage. So we get some great performance here up against the Claw, as you can see. You can pause this, take a look at these if you want to. The Ally, again, doing really well here, native and XeSS up against the Claw. So anyways, guys, that's kind of a quick look at performance with 5 games, in-game benchmarks for some consistency, just to see what the performance is looking like right now in early days. I really do like a lot about the MSI Claw, a lot about using it, how it feels in the hand, the design, the sticks. There's a lot I really enjoy about using the device, but MSI and Intel really do have a lot of work ahead of them to get this thing smoothed out and working better. I don't expect Z1 Extreme performance, but I would like consistent performance that works properly both plugged in and unplugged across all the games. All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.